Hello everyone and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Fix YouTube channel. My name's FPL Phillips. It's time for another episode of Eddie versus the algorithm. I am feeling particularly rough. You can probably see it. Maybe you can hear it as well in my voice, so apologies for that, because it'll probably make the video a bit worse for you guys to watch. But it's not going to stop me from bringing an episode. We do not want to miss a game week, and it's a pretty uneventful game week in isolation, this one, to be honest, but it's quite significant with regards to bringing in players for those who are on game week 29 looking to not use the free hit chip. And also for those who are looking to use the free hit chip, which players can you bring in that have fixtures this week, and which players can you bring in that have, stronger fixtures either side, so in 28, 30, and also game week 27. So we're going to be looking at the free hit teams today, as per usual, algorithm against myself. Last week it was a victory for the algorithm, so it's now 16-8 in the series. With all that said and done, let's get into things, shall we? And so, as I mentioned, the score now 16-8 that you can see at the bottom of your screen. We have a 64 predicted points total for the Algorithm 11 this week, lining up in a 3-4-3 formation. Between the sticks, it is going to be Jordan Pickford. So, not a common occurrence that we see an Everton defensive asset in the lineup here, but, people have had success with Branthwaite over these last couple of weeks. West Ham have Paqueta back now, which would be the main reason that I don't think I would like to go for Jordan Pickford, despite that being a home fixture, despite Everton having kept a number of clean sheets so far already this campaign, which I think is probably what's, weighing in on that algorithm and making the computer select Jordan Pickford. Definitely not one I think I will go for this week. I'd be more likely to do something like bring in a West Ham attacking asset, maybe even an Emerson, someone in defence. They're one of the teams, of course, who have a fixture in game week 29. And, even if you're looking to use the free hit that week, I think Bowen could still be a really good asset to invest in. It's just if Paqueta can stay fit, really, that I think West Ham will do really well. He is so vital to that system. Now, in defence, we're going to see a back three of Kieran Trippier, Gabriel, and then Christian Romero. I'm assuming that Romero's in here because Pedro Porro is currently flagged in FPL at the moment. Now, I haven't got the latest, on him, and what's going to be said in the press conferences on Friday will be the main force between what you guys decide to do with Pedro Porro, so I've had to go a bit early. I've seen he wasn't on the boards for some of the training, and, Richarlison wasn't on that board either, but he was spotted in the training session, so it's very much still up in the air. Hopefully we can get some clarification tomorrow, and we'll know about Porro's prospects of starting the weekend. But yeah, Romero is presumably in the team for that reason, and don't really like him as an option just because I think Spurs don't keep that many clean sheets anyway. Palace have been managing to score a couple of goals. They are missing some of their key assets, so Eze and Elise are out, but people like Edouard, Mateta, they can step up. And so I don't really think that Spurs are that particularly likely to keep a clean sheet. And with Romero, you're sacrificing that attacking threat that comes in such vast quantities with someone like a Pedro Porro or even a Dougie on the other side. Gabriel is a pick I really do like. We know he can get attacking returns. We know he could have had another attacking return in a recent game week, only that it went down as an own goal in the end, but he was getting on the end of those set pieces. And so I think he probably is the pick at the moment. Him and Saliba both look brilliant. Those two alongside Saka definitely looks the best triple up in my view, just about over going for Odegaard in midfield as maybe a second place alternative. And then finally, Trippier. I don't really like the Newcastle defence at the moment. Not really sure that's worth investing in. Wolves, they're probably going to be without Hwang this weekend. All that to discuss in just a moment. But yeah, I don't think that Newcastle are particularly one of the teams to target. And, but you never know. Trippier could come away with an attacking return in that one. And I could be shut up. The algorithm beat me last week. Maybe it does know what it's on about. We'll go into midfield now and have a look at the four in here. Heung-min Son makes a return to the algorithm side. It's been quite a while since we've seen him in this series, of course. We've then got Phil Foden, we've got Bukayo Saka taking the captain's armband, and Gabriel Martinelli is the third Arsenal asset of choice in this 11. So, interesting to see the computer go with him over Odegaard. I do just prefer Odegaard as a pick. I'm not going to delve too deep into why. I just think that the numbers do suggest he's a better player, and you've also got that minutes kind of assurance on your side with him. Phil Foden, I think, is a really good prospect for this week. If anyone does have a bench dilemma, I would not bench Phil Foden, despite Manchester United, sometimes looking like a tougher fixture on paper. But can we really say that now? The last time Phil Foden has played against Manchester United, one of the most recent fixtures between those two, he scored a hat-trick in it. So Phil Foden, I think, looks a great option for this weekend, and I'll definitely be starting him in my own team. And then finally, Heung-min Son, who I think is going to be a very popular replacement for someone like Hwang, who looks like he might be injured with his hamstring and could be out for a decent while. Spurs are one of those teams with a fixture in game week 29, which is confirmed and a bit of a rarity. And we just know how good he is in FPL. Going to be playing kind of up front. Going to be playing with those penalties as well. So Heung-min Son, really like him as a pick. And a lot of us seem to have those kind of funds in the bank at the moment, with Haaland being the only real premium of worth owning at the moment, because Salah and Trent, etc. are all out. So yeah, Son is a pick I really like for this week. And up front, we've got Ollie Watkins. We've also got Alexander Isak and Erling Haaland. So he's not getting the captain's armband. We'll discuss that in just a moment with the captaincy comparison as usual. Alexander Isak, again, loading up on those Newcastle assets, the computer. Not one I'm particularly fond of, but you know, if Isak is ready to go and actually going to play this weekend, then I don't mind him as a pick at all. Maybe takes away a bit from Anthony Gordon for people who own him. But yeah, Isak, not really too swung either way on him. I think there might just be better informed players to go for at the mo. And then Ollie Watkins, Luton away, pretty nice fixture for Aston Villa. They are a good team, and we know Watkins is in very good form, can get a return against pretty much anyone, and is one of the league's top informed strikers, so no quarrels there about going for him. We'll have a look about on the bench just in case these players are required. Branthwaite is there, as is Bradley, who does look like he'll still be appearing for Liverpool. Saw a few murmurs about him playing out of position in the cup as well, even a little bit further forward. So liking that as a Bradley owner myself. I'll actually be starting him, so it's nice to see him predicted a decent points total for this week. But we're getting to having a look at how my side compares to the algorithm one, as there are quite a number of differences this week. And we're going to see David Raya in goal for me. I've gone with, not the optimal triple up that I said, but I've actually gone for Raya in goal instead. I've then gone with Porro, and I've also gone with Solanke, despite these two players being ones who I very much think could be injured and not appear at all at the weekend, with the mindset being that they either start the game or don't feature at all. And I think not featuring at all is probably what's going to happen. Because funds weren't an issue, I've got Sensei I don't know how to pronounce that name, the Bournemouth defender, down there on the bench, and I've also got Jared Bowen ready to come in for those two. It'll just change to a 3-5-2. I've got the reinforcements, but I thought, if Solanke starts, I do want him in that fixture against Burnley. As mentioned, I've gone with Bradley. I've got him in my own personal team as well. A little bit of a punt on that one. Like to have a bit of a fun time with this series, given that the rest of the team is rather template too. I've stuck with Son, I've stuck with Saka, but I've moved the captain's armband to Erling Haaland for the game against United. Phil Foden has actually dropped out. I've gone with Palmer in the midfield and also Pascal Gross. So, away fixtures in there, which aren't as great as having a game at the Etihad for Man City, obviously. But I think Palmer and Gross could do very well this week. Pascal, in particular, has been in some fine form, so really liking the look of him. And then up front, I've just stuck with Watkins, alongside Solanke, who we've talked about. Also on the bench, I've just got Branthwaite down there, and then also Kelleher. But yeah, not that much else to discuss in regards to the teams. Let me know down below in the comments who you guys think is going to win this week. The algorithm getting a score back last week. It's got some work to do if it wants to catch me, that is for sure. I'm going to have a pretty catastrophic run, but you never know. 8 game weeks could be even and all square by the run into the end of the season. Finally, let's have a discussion about the top captain pick for this week, because there is actually a discussion to be had. Let's see what the stats are saying. So we've got the captaincy matrix here as usual. The predicted points this week, as you'll know from the algorithm 11, of course, go in favour of Bukayo Saka. There's 0.5 difference in it. Some other metrics will go in favour of Erling Haaland, including the expected FPL points, which you can see in the very bottom row of this table. 7.65 for Haaland compared to Saka, who's had 6.92 recently. So a bit of a gulp there. Arsenal have actually looked a very, very marginally better attack, so very, very even there. And actually, out of all the defences this week, we've gone with Watkins in the comparison as well. Luton are unsurprisingly the worst. Sheffield United a close second worst. And then Manchester United haven't looked too bad defensively recently. I would be worried, though, with the number of absentees that the Red Devils are going to have for this weekend. They've got quite a few players out injured and unavailable, it seems. I do think that this could be another situation where Manchester City are able to put quite a number past Manchester United. that's just my prediction for this weekend. And of course, if Man City are scoring goals, I'm most likely going to want my captain's armband on the big Norwegian. So yeah, that's my 2 takes on the topic anyway. As a United fan, I'm kind of hoping it doesn't come true, but that is what I think is going to happen this weekend. Of course, Arsenal are in very fine form at the moment and could equally put 4 or 5 goals maybe past Sheffield United. So it's a very, very tight call for me. Let me know who your guys' captain's armband on is down below in the comments. So yeah, are you Team Saka or Team Haaland? Or maybe are you going a bit more rogue with someone like a Watkins? I'm keen to hear all your guys' thoughts and justifications as to why the pick you're going for. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in once again to Eddie versus the Algorithm and choosing to support the series and the Fantasy Football Fix channel. Make sure to subscribe if you are new around here and leave a thumbs up on the video. It really does help us out. But other than that, thank you very much for tuning in. I wish you a very, very lucky game week and may your arrows be green. I hope to catch you in the next one.